So Bengals dropped this Thursday night football game to the Ravens as they fall to 5-5 on the season through 10 games. They had a chance to win this game, but with about 2 minutes left in the second quarter, Joe Burrow sustained some sort of injury on his hand, maybe his forearm, that wasn't allowing him to grip a ball. Could be a nerve issue. I'm not a doctor, so I don't really know the details of it. The Bengals don't know the details of it either, but obviously he's got some sort of hand injury. And now you're really taking a look at these Bengals, and obviously without him, really, really rough team. You can't get the ball to any of your receivers. Um, the backup they have, he's just not the guy. Browning, he's not the guy that's gonna lead them into the postseason in this crucial stretch that they have. And these games they have in front of them, these aren't cupcakes. These are tough games that they have in front of them. And right now you're sitting at 5-5. I looked at the playoff picture standings after that. They're 10th right now. And the Browns have the tiebreaker over them. The Steelers haven't played yet. But if Burrow is hurt, you could lose that game. You'd lose that tiebreaker possibly. There's a lot of issues going on right now with these Bengals, a lot of problems that I see. And, I think that it's possible this could be off the rails. They're in trouble. This is bad. I continued to kind of say throughout the season, even when they were losing these early games, they just don't start well. It looked as if they were getting back into that groove that we see. And like even last week in that game where CJ Stroud went toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow, beat him, it looked like the Bengals would have won that game if Boyd didn't drop that touchdown. I mean, they were right there. I think they possibly win this game in a duel. It would have been an all-out duel if Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt. But once Joe Burrow got hurt, the game was essentially over. But still, at the same time, I don't know where you go. Like if this injury that he has, if it's like a ligament, or like if it's like something more intense than like just like a broken pinky finger, this could be a surgery situation. This could be like 3 or 4 weeks. It could be the season. The season would be over if it's not already. You have an unbelievably tough schedule. You got Pittsburgh. You got Jacksonville. Jacksonville is going to win their division. The Colts aren't the easiest out ever. The Vikings, Josh Dobbs been playing pretty well. I still think they would win that game. You got the Steelers again. Like I said, the Steelers, probably the craziest and worst 6-3 team to maybe ever play, but still at the same time, they're 6-3. They find a way to win games. If you're Cincinnati, you're not. And then you have Kansas City. Kansas City would, especially without Burrow, they would smoke them. So, I mean, if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you're in a worse spot than Cleveland today. It's not good. It's really not good. And this is a team that I really thought that possibly this was a Super Bowl year for them. I really did think. I thought that the Chiefs had maybe gotten possibly a little bit worse because of the lack of the receiving talent. I thought that they would have a pretty good year, and then obviously they started off slow, but then you kind of realize, well, Burrow always starts off slow. He just had to get through September, through October. They were playing really well, but this injury, and I think we have to come to the conclusion too, he's an injury-prone guy. That's just what it is. Joe Burrow's an injury-prone guy. That's just what he is within his career, and you just got to hope he stays healthy. But I think that even shows even more homage to like when the guy is healthy, he is without a doubt a top 5 quarterback in the league, probably number 2 in my book. But I mean, they're nowhere near as good without him. Jamar Chase is still an unbelievable talent, but he's not putting up the stats without Joe Burrow out there. People forget Boyd. He had decent stats before Burrow was there, but he didn't really take that, breakaway advantage until Burrow was in the system. So, and, it helps everything. I mean, Mixon still had his in this game. He had the over on his, yards and all that still, but even his game flows better when Burrow's in there, and you could tell last couple of drives they couldn't do anything on offense. And you looking at this schedule, and I don't know how you can pull out all these wins within this stretch. It would be incredibly difficult. So, yeah, I think it's time to hit the panic button. You got to find out. You don't have to find out immediately. You don't play till the 26th, but you got to find out at some point. What's going on with Joe Burrow. He can't hopefully he's good because he really can't afford to even miss one game. The schedule is too tough. They've already had their bye, I believe. I want to say they've already had their bye, and yeah, if that's the case, you don't have a week off, so I don't know what you're gonna do if he's out. The season's over. If he's in, it's still going to be a really tough road, but I think they could get there. Obviously, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, they're both 6-3, sitting at that 5-6 spot of the wild cards. But at the same time, obviously Cleveland just lost Deshaun Watson, which is a bummer for them because who knows the run that they could have made with Deshaun Watson. But but then if you look at the Steelers, kind of fraudulent. Offense is shaky, barely wins games. You play them twice, so you could get the tiebreaker. So they're not. Bengals aren't dead by any stretch. They're 500, but if Burrow's out, obviously, and even the team that's in the 6th spot, the Texans, obviously you don't have the tiebreaker with them. But who's to say that C.J. Stroud's going to continue playing at this pace? He's been really good, but who's to say he keeps going at this pace? It's just Burrow's got us. If Burrow's still in, you have a fighting chance. It's not completely over yet, but definitely push that panic button because it's not looking great, and it's starting to look like possibly a lost year.